Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is Kevin Small and today I want to answer the question, what makes Final Fantasy XIV so special in comparison to World of Warcraft? This is a question I get a lot lately. People asking like, hey Mo, you have been playing World of Warcraft since day one, you have been playing Final Fantasy XIV for 7 years now. What do you believe makes the game so much better or special in comparison to WoW? And well, that is pretty good question. But when you first look at Final Fantasy XIV, you might think, well, this is anime World of Warcraft, isn't it? And yeah, I can see where people are coming from with that thought, but that's not really the case. Final Fantasy XIV has taken a lot of the systems which were implemented in World of Warcraft and built on them. Something which World of Warcraft, by the way, did when they came out, and they took a lot of ideas from EverQuest, Ultima Online, and so on and so forth, took those ideas and built on them. And people really loved that. This is why the game became so successful, because it took a lot of MMO features which were kind of convoluted at the time, and they made it easier to follow. But there's this one thing. World of Warcraft was always kind of bad at and got worse and worse and worse over the years till the point where it isn't actually existent at all anymore. And I think that is what's killing World of Warcraft quite a bit. And Final Fantasy XIV had that feature right from the beginning, and it's one of the main reasons that people are playing that game day in and day out. What am I talking about? Socializing. Socializing is one of the big things Final Fantasy XIV is doing so well, and World of Warcraft kinda did at the beginning. Like let me tell you a little bit of a story. Back in the day in vanilla World of Warcraft, there was this Terrence Mill versus South Shore, right? If you have never played World of Warcraft, it's pretty simple. Terrence Mill was a Horde outpost, and South Shore was an Alliance outpost, and they were super close to each other. And especially on PvP servers, but also PvE servers, people would just meet in the middle and beat the living crap out of each other. What did it do? Did it give you XP? Money? Items? Did you conquer anything? No. It was the most useless thing you could come up with. It was actually super expensive for a lot of classes. Like, ask the tanks after a day of doing PvP in that area how much money they lost. It was ridiculous. But even though it was, from a gameplay perspective, completely useless, people loved it. They absolutely loved the hell out of it because it was fun. You were meeting up with people, you were fighting other people, you had conversations, you were sometimes throwing some pretty mean things at each other, and there was a lot of action and socializing going on. And you know what then happens? I remember this still because I was there. We were fighting each other, and people with ropes just appeared out of nowhere. Game masters, GMs. And they were like, please disperse. You're making the server unstable. Please stop this. Leave. And of course, people didn't do that because they enjoyed the heck out of themselves and they didn't want it to stop. So what did the GMs do? They teleported the people away to their main cities. And people were furious. And the same happened a little bit later. I still remember this when the Horde attacked Stormwind, which was one of the big cities of the Alliance, and they attacked it with hundreds of players. And the Alliance was, of course, like building up a defense, and they had to fight for street corner of street corner. Like, it was a slow fight, but it was a lot of fun. And then in the middle of the fight, people just started to disappear. One by one, just plop, 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 plop. They just disappeared. Why? Because GMs were teleporting them away to their main city. And people were furious about this. And, you know, it is kind of weird when you think about it. Like, this is an MMO. It's a PvP server for most people. And it's called World of Warcraft. And you're basically telling the people to not do PvP. And you might say, yeah, but Mo, PvP is not necessarily socializing. But it is. It all happens in the overworld. It's a conflict. People are talking to each other. People talked about how they can build up defenses, if they should have like scouts running around looking for horde players, or, well, the other side, you know. And like people were actually talking to each other, and there was a lot of socializing going on. And over the years, I always had the feeling that Blizzard took the little bit of socializing and just scrapped it. There wasn't a lot of socializing there in World of Warcraft because they didn't give the people the tools. But over the years, it got less and less and less and less till now. Well, what is World of Warcraft now? It's basically a lobby system where you wait for your next dungeon to pop. People are just sitting in the main city, not really talking to each other, and then just wait for the next dungeon to pop. They are just rushing through that dungeon as quickly as they can because they want the loot. They don't even say hi, they don't even say bye, they don't talk to each other. They're really just, well, having the inconvenience to deal with other players, grabbing their loot, and then they're the heck out of there. That's what World of Warcraft is nowadays. And that's where Final Fantasy is doing so much better. Like, I remember that people said, you know, I think World of Warcraft died when Blizzard implemented the Dungeonfinder. And I disagree, but I also agree. I agree because, yes, it kind of killed the last conversation point people had with each other. And that was looking for dungeons, right? But I also disagree because look at Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV has a dungeon finder. And nothing killed the game. The game is growing like crazy and people are still doing the same thing. Why? Because they have enough to do. There is enough other ways of socializing in Final Fantasy XIV that they don't need this one last-ditch effort to communicate with each other by looking for dungeon teams. Like, we have people just standing in the cities, socializing with each other, talking with each other, using emotes. There are music bands going around, like playing music from movies, TV shows, games. And there are like whole theater groups going around. And then one of the main things which keeps the game alive and kicking is housing. Well, not the normal housing, what you envision now, not the Sims housing, where people are just sitting there for hours trying to make the most beautiful and aesthetic pleasing house on the planet. Don't get me wrong, people love that, but that's not really socializing. What I'm talking about are the houses and the free company houses which serve a purpose. And whatever that purpose might be is up to the community. I have seen free company / guild houses which were repurposed for being a nightclub, a bar, a theater group, a fight pit, or, well, an 18+ meeting spot. Let's not go too much into detail there, but those houses also exist. Just saying. However, the point is, people are just coming together to socialize. Do they get anything out of it? Do they get XP? Do they get items? No. They don't, gameplay-wise, they don't get a single thing out of those like socializing moments where they're meeting in those repurposed houses to talk about the politics in Eorzea, or to listen to a reenacting of Pokemon, or watching just people beating the living shit out of each other in a fighting pit, and you can bet on it. It doesn't do anything. But people just sit there, they talk to each other, they're using emotes, a little bit of light RP, and they come together to socialize. They're people who do nothing else. Like, they had an 8-hour session in Final Fantasy XIV. They didn't kill a single mob. They didn't get a single item. They were not going in dungeons. They were really just meeting up in those houses or standing in the city, playing music. And you can just go up to random people and socialize. And I know what some people of you might not say, but Mo, that sounds like a standard MMO. Does it though? Because I have the feeling in the last few years, we didn't really have that a lot. There were not a lot of MMOs who actually go for the social experience, who go for the socialization, who go for like giving the players the tools they then can use to make like a fun outside gameplay experience. As I said, from a pure gameplay perspective, all the socializing is doing absolutely nothing for you. But it is fun, and people love to do that. And that is something World of Warcraft never had. Like, even in vanilla, yeah, people were talking, people were like kind of socializing here and there, but they never had the tools like in Final Fantasy XIV. There was never really housing. There were no hundreds of emotes where you could reenact like a whole theater play or Broadway session or whatever. They didn't have the music tools to play like their own music. Like, again, when you're looking at the tools Final Fantasy is giving to the players, they're right. They're nothing crazy. They're nothing which have never been done before. But they are enough for people to make their own experience, and people love it. People love to do that. And I think that's one of the reasons why World of Warcraft slowly died out. Like, I've been playing World of Warcraft, and my friends have been playing World of Warcraft, and people I have met in World of Warcraft have been playing this game for so long as they did, because all their friends were playing it. All the people they have met and they have socialized with have played that game. And they didn't want to leave it. They didn't want to leave their friends or the people they have met there. But over time, those people moved on, and nobody really wanted to meet new people in the game, because the game didn't really do much to meet new people. Like, as I said, World of Warcraft is now nothing but a lobby / your big city where you are just standing and waiting for the Dungeonfinder or Raid Finder to pop. That's what World of Warcraft became. And I think that's not how an MMO, at least, can survive when you only have that. So if people are asking me, yeah, what is the one thing you truly believe Final Fantasy XIV does so much better than World of Warcraft ever has? It's the socializing. It's the tools I have to create a cool experience for the hours I'm in the game, and they don't have to be bound to gameplay. They don't have to be bound to fighting or to the story I have to follow or anything like that. They can be player created. And that's one of the things I truly believe, which makes Final Fantasy XIV so fantastic. With that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, and you're on your way out, I would appreciate if you might consider to leave a like. If you didn't like this video for whatever reason, well, the dislike button is right next to it. And if you're new to the channel, you want to see more Final Fantasy videos, more gaming news, more reaction videos, and so much more gaming related stuff, then I would also appreciate if you might consider to subscribe to the channel. It would help me out a ton. And if you ever want to catch me live, you can also do so at trovo.live/chaosmole. We are streaming from Monday to Friday, starting at 9 a.m. ET, which is 2 p.m. UK time and 3 p.m. Central European time. And we are always playing the newest games, and I really have to play more Final Fantasy XIV because I have to finish up a few things before and work out. God damn it. So if you ever want to catch us there, you can do so. And again, thank you so much for your time. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.